from Spark AI and Snapside AI. Here we have an interesting session for you. We have let me start by welcoming my colleague Vamshi. He just a bit of a background. Let me embarrass him a bit. We've been working on many initiatives in GiveMe, and the AI portfolio is led by him. All the products are his babies, and he has the initiative to just not go with the product, but also go ahead, understand use cases, travel the world, go to all the events, understand from the event professionals directly itself. It's been a great journey. So welcome, Vamshi.
Hey, thank you. Thanks a lot, Ananth. So thanks for that intro. But yeah, I think over last 1 2 years, it's been a really great journey for us to build these products, but also to learn a lot, right? Because when we really started this, just I think we launched just after around a few months after ChatGPT. So we were like that early in the game, and it's been a really great journey so far.
Yeah, absolutely. As the timing was amazing, and AI tools today, especially ChatGPT, Gemini, or any chat-based tools out there, the possibilities are endless, and everyone has the access now. But what we understood pretty early was that the even though the sky is the limit, anyone when sits on ChatGPT or any chat-based AI tool, there is a blank page syndrome because you don't know where to start. Even though the sky is the limit, you don't know where to start and what kind of operation can you lead in there and how to maneuver the entire platform is a bit intimidating, I would say. So that was the origin of Spark AI, and that's where we understood that that's the challenge, and we created this experience where anyone, especially focusing on the event professionals and making it easier for them to adopt, start picking the pieces right, starting from content creation, analysis, repurposing, and brainstorming. So we created this entire journey where 100 plus tasks were fit into this platform.
Yes, yeah. I think what is it? When we started that, that was a intuition that we had that, like you mentioned, if sky is the limit, if you can do anything with the tool, the main question is that what can you do today, right? What can you do now with that particular tool? And then there are a lot of possibilities, but also a lot of limitations as well. That's where uh, our specific expertise came into play, where we were experimenting with multiple models to see which models are working well. And I think that template of going with a job to be done, like building an agenda or creating something as simple as a session description, something like that. So that really worked out, and in this last 2 years, that is what we are seeing, that template still holds strong, and we'll be able to do much more with that, and we can build on top of that.
Absolutely. So I think we didn't stop there. 2024 was the search where
Yeah.
we created tasks and made it easy for people to adopt it. But 2025, we took it to the next step and came in the agents. And
Yeah.
that's where Spark Agent Studio was born. And we had unleashed that. I can say that in early Jan when we were at Convening Leaders by the PCMA's event.
Yeah.
And we have had great support and also great interest in the solution after that.
Yeah, yeah. So if you are in the AI world, everybody is talking about agents right now, and everybody has their own definition of an agent. So that's a debatable topic on its own. But yeah, I think what we have come up with is a very intuitive kind of setup, where anyone can create their own task, or we can call it an agent or anything. Basically, a workflow, that is something that you'll be able to create with Spark Agent Studio.
Yes, absolutely. I just wanted to open it up for the if any attendees curious about what they are, if there's any particular use cases they are interested in, or any interest in understanding which is the backend interface of Spark. Please feel free to put it on the chat. And before we get in, so that's the context about Spark. So Spark is available free for any event professional to sign up and understand what are the use tasks that are there. And then there are upgrades to it based on what is the utility and the use cases as well.
Yeah.
So, getting into Spark Agent Studio, we thought this would be an interesting start because the limit is yeah. So we can start off with Sina's question. Thank you, Sina. So on the chat, she says that can I create my own agent with Spark? So yeah, to answer short basis, yes, we can create your own agent. And as she said, everybody has their own definition. What we predominantly understand is that there are some visions that everybody has about creating a better experience and a faster experience for themselves. So that's there. So we had the experience of working with many event professionals, and we wanted to pick one of the favorite, which we hear a lot, where event professionals, professionals handling venues and many other congresses and others as well, they always have this problem of comparing two documents which are either RFPs or quotes or anything. So this is a pretty favorite for anyone and also a very simple to agent as well. So I thought we can just start with that, Vamshi.
Yes. Yeah. So what we can do today is to go through. I'll give you a quick overview of what is Spark Agent Studio, and then maybe at the end we can create Sina's own agent also. Yeah. So let me share my screen. Yeah. This is Spark. If you are not familiar, like we have mentioned, we do have a jobs to be done kind of framework. We have grouped these into multiple categories. We have content generation, repurpose, brainstorming, etc., etc. But let me go into Agent Studio. So, yeah, this is Spark Agent Studio. You will be able to create your own task with this. This is your factory where you can create your own agents, and we have multiple options in here. When you want to create a new agent, either you can start with a template. So here we have a few templates which are users favorites, like sponsor prospecting agent, speaker bio writer, course outline, and a lot. And what we can do is also to create an agent from scratch. So we'll be creating an agent from scratch today. Yeah. So I think what is the main difference between chat GPT that you are using versus if you create your own GPTs is also is the context, right? Means if you have a specific knowledge about something, let's say you are planning an event, so you will be able to create an event with multiple knowledge items in here, saying your event agenda, what is your event theme, where is your event happening, and everything. So that this is an agent which is already equipped with that knowledge, and whatever task you are giving this agent, like creating a session agenda or comparing documents for your venue or anything like that, this specific agent will be using that knowledge and doing an operation. Like Ananth mentioned, we'll start with a document comparison. So instead of making it generic, let's create a, vendor quote comparison. Okay, so vendor comparison agent, and here if you have any specific knowledge about your event, like your agenda and everything, you can upload that, or you can go straight away into building it. Okay, so here what you are doing is, if you have seen Spark already, Spark has a specific template of sorts, like I mentioned. Here you will be able, on the left hand side, there are specific fields or inputs that you can give into Spark, and then on the right side you will have a chat GPT like chat interface where you'll be able to chat with it. So here, what we are going to do is we can define what specific inputs we want. I don't think even name matters here. Let's directly jump into getting those documents. we can actually take it. We do have multiple types of fields that you can create, and what we are using today is file upload, and let's call it upload your codes. Yeah, and you can choose, because while doing a file upload, sometimes you might be uploading documents, sometimes you might be doing an upload of video. We support more than 30 plus types of formats. So for this one, I'm just going with documents, and let's make this compulsory, because without which we cannot do anything. And yeah, I think that should be the start of it. So this agent, what will it do is, it if you drop in a bunch of vendor codes, it will automatically do a comparison. For that, what we are going to do is to create a step in the workflow. Here I am creating a first step in the workflow. You can choose from multiple options that we have. Since we are using large language models for this, we'll go with a AI prompt. But let's say you want to build a research agent where you want to do some internet research, then you can click on internet search, and then give that agent a task of going and searching in the whatever Google results that you are going to get. We'll be able to get those results in here. Let's go with AI prompts. Feel free to drop any questions if you have, but yeah, I'll continue with this to show you how it's going to turn out. And then let's start. Whether you are using ChatGPT, Gemini, or when you are building an agent in Spark, everything is with a prompt, right? So here we'll start writing a prompt. You are an expert event organizer with an eye for detail. Okay, so here we are setting the context of what is this agent is supposed to do, and then you are tasked with comparing vendor codes. And one of the best practices that we usually what is it, mention is that the more clear you can be in the prompt with the final output that you want and how you want the task to be done, the better your final output will be. And here we are asking it, you are tasked to with comparing vendor codes, and then here are the vendor codes. Yeah.
This can be plain language, right? As
Yes.
in, this can
Yeah.
be not complex as
Yep.
any.
Yeah. I think the large language models that we have right now are much more superior than we have started with around 2.5 years back, right? When we just had GPT 3.5, you had to do a lot of prompt engineering, let's say, to get even a small task done. But with the latest models that you are getting, the simpler and clear you can be, the better output you will be getting here as well. And then
Yes.
yeah, here in the previous step we have already done the, like, we have created a field to take vendor codes, right? What we can do is we can insert a variable here, which is your vendor codes, because this is a variable which will change. Your whole prompt will remain constant, but this only vendor codes that you are uploading into the prompt. Basically we are building a template here, right? So here are the vendor codes. Please help me compare and output in markdown table. Uh, Within this call we'll be able to try to see what are the different variations of the final output that we can get, but I think this should be a very good start. Yeah. And next step is to choose a model, right? Let's say when you are getting a subscription of chat gpt or claude or gemini, you are actually stuck with one model. Based on our experimentations, what we saw is that the clearer you can be, I think for a very specific task, particular model will do much better than a different model. You getting stuck into one single platform which uses only one set of models will be a barrier. That's why we have set out to build a vendor agnostic platform, whereas you can use different kinds of models. So here, if you go into AI model, you can either choose an OpenAI model or Claude or Gemini, and then we are adding more models every day as well. So you'll be able to see that you will get much different outputs when you use one model versus another. I'm going to pick my favorite model, which is Claude Sonnet 3.5. And then yeah, and then we do have one more variable as well, which is called temperature. We can think of temperature as a proxy for creativity. The more creative you want it to be, the higher temperature that you can get. So while comparing different vendors, you don't want it to be that creative. I think we can tone it down a bit.
And a crowd favorite question would be that what are the other ones which will be coming? So DeepSeek has done a lot of buzz these
Yeah,
days.
yeah.
So will that be in a part of it?
We are trying. So one of the thing to make a model available in Spark is that we do a thorough evaluation of models and make sure that we can host it on our private cloud, so that you are not using a public LLM, because Spark is also an enterprise platform, right? We take data privacy and security very seriously. So every single model that you see in here is privately hosted model, and we are thoroughly vetting these models. I think DeepSeek is something that we are currently evaluating, and I think soon we'll have that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
And then here, yeah, I think this need not be more complicated than this. We can just save this one, and you can go ahead and start testing your task or an agent. Let's test this agent. Here, this is a field that we have created. Upload your vendor codes, and then we can just click and then choose. Let me use my project. Yeah, here we'll be comparing two AV services, and one of the best features that I like in Spark is that you don't need different file inputs to take multiple files. You can actually drop in multiple files just by selecting multiple files, and then done. Your agent is on the way, and you can already see that you are getting an output here. So this, I think, when you go and see these documents, these can be 5-page documents, 10-page documents, and you would like, there is a lot of fine print to it as well. But to start with the comparison, you would want to see that what are the basic elements, so that when you are in the final stages of choosing a vendor, then you would go into the details. So this is a pretty good comparison, I would say, right? Here, what we are doing is this. What you can see is the model that we have used, Claude Sonnet 3.5, has automatically picked up when we are asking to do a comparison. Here it is actually doing comparison based on event type, base price that they have given, visual equipment, lighting, and cancellation policy. Because whatever what are the key factors in doing a comparison, we don't need to think about that a lot. I think if we give a very simple output, very simple prompt like that, also we'll be get a uh, we'll be getting a really great output.
Awesome.
So yeah.
So I'll play the devil's advocate here and ask you that all of us have access to ChatGPT. $20 is something that we all kind of okay to pay. So what is the difference that this gives compared to a normal subscription to those?
Yeah. So let's say with Chat GPT, you'll be able to like. There are some technical differences as well, for sure. But if you want to do an experiment to see that which model is performing better for this specific task, you will not be able to do that. You will be with a Chat GPT subscription, you will get access to only these models that you see on the top. But then there is a lot more going on, right? Like you just mentioned, there is DeepSeek, there is Claude, and everything, and we are seeing that every single week there is a new model that is coming up, and we'll not be able to take up multiple subscription, switch between multiple tools. That is one. And with these, with Spark, one of the main goal that we have is to have your whole work centralized in one place, whichever model that you are using. And my favorite feature is that we'll be able to pick up these multiple models, right? Let's take example of Gemini. Gemini is one of those models where you can drop in a 400 page document also that you cannot do on ChatGPT. You can drop multiple 200-300 page documents, and then you can get it to compare as well. uh, that's a really great capability that Gemini models have, which chat gpt doesn't have. Like that, there'll be a lot of technical differences, but I think the main ones would be to choose between models and also to have all of your workplace in a single go.
Of course. And also, I think there is step by step. So you can
Yeah,
start with one
yeah,
model and one task and then add one more. And then, so there is one
yeah,
after another that can be done at the
yeah.
same.
Yeah. So here, let's see what Gemini does when we ask for a comparison. So we have the documents ready. We'll run it again. You can see that there is a difference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
More nuanced and more segments.
Yes. So here, when you go into the visual system, now it is going into more details. Now, based on the type and the detail of the code that you are getting, here you can see that Tech Pro AV services, they offer multiple packages, and then location mismatch is there. And then here you can see that they do have multiple packages as well. So we can get a different kind of comparison also. And then there are, as you can see, this is a slightly better model also, because it is actually telling you what are the key considerations that you need to take while selecting a vendor, and what kind of budget you need to look for, and then what are the main things. Like I just mentioned, we need to read the fine print, right? So here the model is taking your attention to some of the finer details that you might miss out, and then yeah, you'll be able to go through these things in here.
Awesome. I think that's a good segue. There's a good question from Sina where, what do you mean by temperature?
Yeah, temperature is creativity, I would say. So let's do one thing here. What we are doing is we are comparing these in a table like structure, right? What we can do is build a case. Yeah, build a case for the best vendor, and write me a document which I can send to stakeholders. Okay, so here what you can do is you can make it a bit more creative, because you are actually building a case, right? So here is where you can use a higher temperature, so that we'll be able to see some differences for sure. So let's see what kind of case this would build. Yeah. So previously, when we asked it to compare, it is just comparing these things. But here, what it is doing is actually creating an executive summary, saying that, hey, what is the comparison? Now it will be giving you a table, then building a detailed case for you as well. Yeah,
Okay, so
here it is starting to do an analysis. You can see that scenario one, if you want to do a product launch, we would be recommending Grand Tech Audio, because this comes with creativity. The more the temperature is, you'll be able to see that it can go into creative ways, like creating scenarios, and then giving you the key decision factors and justification.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So scrolling back on that in the interest of time, so wanted to understand if this workflows continue. So you have this task where you're comparing two documents. Let
Yeah.
us say the professional wants to create one task and then after that and use internet search and then go for an AI prompt and go for another internet search
Yeah.
or whatever. How much, how many tasks that does Agent AI allow?
Okay, this can go pretty deep actually. This we do have a what do you say, pretty flexible limitations on this, And here we do have a limitation of around 15 actions. Means your AI agent can go through 15 different steps of this whole thing, and then get you a task done. Here, what I can actually show you are some of the tasks that I have built. Just give me a second. I'll be able to show you some.
If you can zoom in a bit.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Content.
So
So
you have a
here,
library of tasks which are ready for you.
yeah, there are a lot of tasks, and this is one of my favorite tasks as well. This I am calling it content refresher task. So here, what I have done is one of the common problems that I saw with a lot of associations is that they produce a lot of content, and then there is a continuous need. I think this is not just for associations, right? Even us company like us, right, when we are building a product, there are a lot of updates. But going back to a website and seeing that if there are multiple criteria of uh, multiple things changing out, there is actually, if you need to go back and do an update, which will be very difficult. So here what we have done is we have built a series of tasks. What does a specific content refresher agent will do is this will go and do research on behalf of you, right? So here it is actually generating queries, doing research on behalf of you, and then coming up with a final answer saying that, hey, this is what you need to do and update. So let's give this a try. I'll actually show it. Like I mentioned here, this is doing almost 12 steps of action before giving you a final output. So let's test this
That's
out.
deep. That's
Yeah.
so. On that note, because this is a test, so let us see the test, and I have one more question for you.
Yeah, no, okay. We can go into the real task and test it out. Let me show you. I'm calling these amazing tasks. So, bad
As it
name.
is.
So, here I have a research summary. This is from an association where we have fetched it. If you want to give a URL also, you'll be able to give a direct URL. Let's say this is for academics. Now, this will take a bit of time than your typical task, right? Because when you are using ChatGPT or when you are creating a one-step task, that will usually give you a result very, very fast. But here we are doing a 12-step action. That's why this is going to take a bit of time. But yeah, we can start with your question that you had.
Yeah, so I think it falls in the same category that a 12-step action is comparatively complex.
Yes.
So this would the question is, do we offer support for users as which is the one which is best for what, and what kind of tasks will be done, and to create the task as well.
Yes, yeah, we do. I think with Spark Agent Studio itself, what we have done is we do have a detailed support documentation, and then we do always have us, right. We'll be able to help you in building these tasks as well, because we've been building these tasks from a while. And then we do have a really good support ecosystem where you will be able to go through and see that for which of this task which model really works. So that's the kind of support that you have. And let's see the final this kind of output that we got. So here what this task did was, sorry, this agent did was went through the whole documentation and broke it down into 5 or 6 queries, did an internet search to see are there any latest research documents which are talking about this specific topic and this specific keywords. Then it comes back and sees whether, based on the research summary that we have given, whether we should do an update or not. So here, this comes up with a list of suggestions. Hey, you might need to do this, you might add a section, you can do this. And if you are doing these updates, your final content might look like this. For this is a workflow. If you want a human to do this will take a lot of time. And the best part, you can see references also. So if you want to go back and check whether this is making sense or not, you can actually go into the references and check. So for this, let's say a human will be able to do this in around 40-45 minutes. Imagine doing this for 100 pages or 100 documents. With tools like this, with agents like this, you will be able to do this in 1.5 to 2 hours. But if you want to do it manually, you need to have a group of volunteers who are actually working on this for at least 1 week. So what the kind of efficiency that we're bringing is that we are taking the final effort down from 1 week to 1.5 to 2 hour, and that is the value that these kind of agents can bring in.
Of course, with the flexibility as well to which your model experimenting and you learn on
Yeah,
a daily basis, which is the model asset. So
yeah,
awesome. So that is one of the biggest tasks. So I wanted to take a pause and understand this is one task that we
yeah.
have doubled down on this, and there are many as such.
Yes.
So how what is this what does that look like in the universe here?
Yeah, so what to say, for me, this became my central repository for work. So you might not have seen this task, Ananth, but I do have a resume summarization and a ranking agent as well, because I am like, I do get a lot of resumes that I need to look into, right? So sometimes it is very difficult. I try to build a resume summarization and ranking agent where I can drop in 10-15 resumes, and then here I'll be able to mention, right, what is the job that I'm looking for, and then what are the here I'll be able to paste the job description and the qualities that I'm looking for, and then I'll go drop in a bunch of resumes, and then I'll get a final output to see, okay, this is something that I can actually take forward. I'll not be basing my decision completely on that, but this helps a lot. And
Okay.
similarly, there are a bunch of agents that I create for myself. Similarly, within my team also, they do create a bunch of agents for themselves as well. Let's say for sales, we have created an agent for a HDR. I think when you go into this task, you will see that if you give a LinkedIn profile, company name, and everything, we'll be able to create a personalized email as well. You can see this kind of tasks extending into creating a personalized registration email, right? So there is a lot of things that you'll be able to do with this, and we are just getting started.
Of course. So yeah, I think we can say that one step into it, but yeah, too not too much as well. So we have more
Yeah,
to speak next time. So we'll park that for there. Any questions? I would say this is a good time for us to answer a couple of them and wrap up for this today. I don't see any new questions. So, okay, so I think that should be good. And we also have deployed our own, again, product Snapside for this session. So, this will give you insights and the key takeaways in the summaries and also the visualization of all the topics that we have discussed. Feel free to scan the QR code and get those. And in case you missed a particular part of the session as well. So yeah, until next time, we would have one more edition to get one more debriefing of an agent which is more complex.
yeah,
Yeah, thank you very much, Vamshi, and see you soon.
yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot for